Please welcome to the stage, Dan Meeking.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dan Meeking. I'm a product manager at Shopify back in Ottawa, and I'm here to talk to you about the new capabilities for video and 3D for merchandising. So as you saw on main stage yesterday, or many of you I think stopped by the stroller booth, we're super excited to have Shopify as the very first commerce platform with end-to-end support for 3D and video. So we'll spend the next 30 minutes getting into the details of these changes. Together we're going to review what this solution looks like, why we're building it. We're going to talk about some of the API and platform changes, and then we'll talk about timelines and takeaways so that we all know what we need to do collectively to bring this to life for our merchants. So a big driver for doing this is that we want to deliver a better than retail experience online. So when you're in a retail store, you can pick up products, you can move them around, you can see how big they are, and you can't quite do that online. And so as much as possible, the work that we're doing is trying to bring that retail experience to people online. And so video is one way of doing that. Video helps. You can see things move, you can see how they fold, you can get a sense of scale. 3D, and particularly AR on top of 3D, allows you to see things in your space without even having to purchase them. And so this is even better than retail. You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to wait for something to be shipped for you. You can see what the stroller looks like, or a folded version of the stroller looks like in your car without even having to leave the comfort of wherever you are in the world. And if you haven't been to our activation area down on the main floor, come see it. It's really fun to play with the stroller, the real one and the virtual one. And you know what? It works. So last September, we launched Shopify AR, which brought an AR experience for iOS users to online stores. We did an experiment to look at this, and we found that sessions that interacted with 3D converted at 2.5 times the rate of sessions that didn't. So people that were interacting with 3D were 2.5 times more likely to purchase than those that didn't. And so we really hope that with your help, we can bring conversion lifts like this to all 820,000 plus of our merchants. And so this is an example of the experience that we're looking to deliver. Again, you can see this in our activation area, but this is an example of a product that has images, it has a model that you can interact with in your browser, it has videos attached to it. And so we're just bringing richer ways to show off and tell the story of a merchant's product. To support this, is AR gonna play? Come see it at our activation booth. To support these changes, our admin is changing as well. And so where you're used to seeing an image card on products, now you see a media card that allows you to not only upload images, but also video and 3D files. And so that's all it takes to load media of the new types into products. We hope it's that easy. So let's get into some of the API and platform changes. So there's 4 areas that we're going to review here. We're going to look at Liquid changes. There's, of course, changes and enhancements to Liquid for you to be able to bring these 3D models and these videos to life for our merchants. We're going to look at the STOREFRONT API, GraphQL admin media API, and finally, we'll wrap up with some technical details on how this all works. So let's first dive into some Liquid. So for those of you that are familiar with Liquid, this will look fairly familiar, but this is really the heart of the change. Previously, you would be used to seeing product.images, which returned an array of images. Going forward, you're going to see product.media that returns a mixed array of images, 3D models, and videos all put together. Images in this array function just how you would expect them to function if you're used to working with images in Liquid. So what I'm going to do is dive into some of the details of how video and 3D work. So let's start with video. So here's an example of looping through the product media, looking for videos, and using a video tag to render out those videos. And again, I'm not turning this into a Liquid tutorial. We're just going to go through the concepts. I'm also not an engineer, so I'm not the right person to do a really tight Liquid demo. But what this generates is a really simple, plain HTML5 video tag with multiple sources for that particular video. And so it is our desire with Liquid to only ever write out the basics to set you up to be able to override and enhance that however you see fit for the particular theme that you're building. And so if you want to do something else, you want to be feeding in the video sources to custom tags, custom components, again, whatever it is that you're looking to do, that's fine. We set you up for that as well. So we give you access to get into the sources for all the videos, again, to do whatever it is that you want to be doing with the underlying video data to build the experience that you or your merchants want. Onto 3D. So unlike images, unlike video, there's no HTML tag for 3D on the web. But with Liquid, we're making it almost as easy as if there was. So you can see a model viewer tag here that's used to render the model viewer. And so what you're seeing here is a tweaked version of a web component called Model Viewer. It's developed by Google as an open source project. We've been contributing to it. And they're going to start to use this across many of their web properties. So you're going to see this in a lot of places. We're working really closely to hopefully turn this into a standardized 3D experience that'll be familiar to people all over the web. And of course, as you're seeing, people can rotate, zoom, and look at objects from any perspective, which is exactly what you would expect from 3D. And I just want to highlight and reinforce that they're doing it right in their browser. There's no special plugins. It's just like built in. And of course, it also supports augmented reality. Apple devices and Android devices now, and even the Magic Leap headset for people that are kind of on the bleeding edge. And so I just want to pause for a second to really highlight the reach that this is bringing. This in-browser 3D experience works for every major browser all the way back to Internet Explorer 11. You get both major phone platforms, and we're laying the groundwork to support coming web-based AR and VR standards. And you get all of this from a single file upload and a Liquid tag. So we think this is huge. This is what you're seeing here, the building blocks, the birth of commerce leveraging 3D at scale. So we're super excited to make this available to everyone. And like video, if you're looking to build a particularly precise 3D experience, maybe you're working in a vertical that requires tailored viewers or 3D configurators or other things that are not just an in-browser 3D experience, we're going to help you solve that too. So in this particular Liquid example, we're pulling out the USDZ model that's used for iOS and their quick look and tying it to an image link. And so again, like videos, if you want to get access to the underlying models or the underlying sources, we make that trivially easier for you to build whatever experience you want. Onto the Storefront API. So anyone building a custom storefront, whether that's a native app or any other use of the storefront, we've got you covered too. So through the summer, you'll see us release full access to all media types to the GraphQL Storefront API, as well as the JavaScript by SDK, the Swift SDK for iOS, the Java SDK for Android, and of course, the Unity SDK. So the goal here is really to bring feature parity. If there's something you can do to access information about media on our online store through Liquid, we want you to be able to do the same thing through whatever version of the Storefront API you're using. Again, to build whatever experience, however you want to build it, for whatever our merchants want to do. Okay, here comes some of the big ones. So our media API, so this is a new addition to the admin API. And so in order to really understand what's going on here, there's three main concepts that we have to onboard for you. One, we're uniting images, video, and 3D together under a concept of media. You saw that in the Liquid example, product.media. We're bringing these things together into a concept of media. The second thing that you need to know is that right now, media only exists in the product context. So we're talking about media attached to products and only products. Yes, it will spread to other places, but for now, and what you see in the developer preview, is media in the product context only. And the third point is that the media API, these new media capabilities, are GraphQL only. I want to be really clear, we have no plans to build support for media into the REST version of our API. So if you've been looking for another reason to start adopting GraphQL, maybe this is it. So let's dive into what some of the GraphQL capabilities are for media. So this is a query that's asking for information about the first 10 images attached to a particular product. This is a query that you could run in production today. You could have been running it for ages. There's nothing about media in here, but this is just a starting point. So with media support, instead of asking for the first 10 images, maybe you want to ask for the first 10 media. And for each one of those media, let's get some media content type, because this illustrates how you see the media coming back from your query. So if this particular product had an image, a video, and a 3D model attached to it, this is an example of what the response might look like. So you're going to see information coming back about the individual items. You see a media content type of image. That's an image. If we keep pretending to scroll through the response, you're going to see a content type for a 3D model. That's a 3D model. And somehow I skipped over video, but it was in there as well, so you can use your imagination. If you are uploading media through the admin API, it's a two-step process. First, your asset's uploaded to a staged URL, and then you call a second mutation that attaches that uploaded asset to a particular product. And so this is the mutation to generate a staged upload. This mutation already exists. It can be used in our admin API for images, so this isn't new, but you now use that same staged upload target generate to generate the upload target for all types of media. So as an example, you would pass into that information about what it is you're uploading, in this case, a video. And the response from this would be information about where we want you to upload that particular MP4 file in this case. And so once you've done that, you've uploaded that asset, there's the product create media mutation. This is the mutation that, again, attaches that uploaded media item, the video, to a particular product. And so you pass into that information about, of course, the product ID that you're looking to associate this to, and then information about the media item that you just uploaded to the staged URL. Now, as soon as you do that, your product media exists, but it doesn't mean that it's immediately available for consumption through Liquid or through the Storefront API. So imagine we uploaded a video. When you give us that video, we're not just taking that video as you gave it to us and storing it. I mean, we are, but we're also then processing that to generate multiple resolutions of it and other like tweaks and cleanups. It's being transcoded. And so there's an important concept that you need to understand about processing state. So we've called that create media mutation, and now we're going to query that particular product to get information about the media, asking specifically about, you can see the processing state being put into this query request. And in the response that comes back, maybe we'll see information about that video that we just uploaded moments ago, and you can see the processing state says processing. And if you ran that same query a couple moments later, you would see a processing state of ready. And so this means we're done transcoding, we're done doing whatever it is that we're doing on our side to get that video ready. And so only media that's in the ready state is going to be served through Liquid or through the Storefront API. So just be aware of that new concept of processing state when you're dealing with media. Okay, on to some technical details. So first, we're really excited to say that all of what we're announcing is being made available to every single merchant on every single plan. The only thing that we're doing is we're introducing reasonable limits that limit the amount of video and media that are uploaded on different plan levels, as you can see here. So our projections are that a vanishingly small percentage of merchants are ever going to run into these limits, but if you're building an app that's interacting with our admin API, just be aware that you may occasionally see an error response because a merchant is at their threshold. For video, we are imposing some limits here. We are limiting the videos that are uploaded to us to be 1 minute or 60 seconds long. We'll take up to 1 gigabyte files and up to 4K resolution, and we will generate 360, 480, and 720 versions of whatever you upload to us. We're also generating HLS, call it a playlist, but a container format that supports adaptive bitrate streaming, so your client can pick higher and lower resolution on the fly depending on network conditions. Our videos will be streamed on the same CDN from Google Cloud that serves YouTube, so we're not expecting any capacity issues, nor do we anticipate any edge performance issues. And so, we're doing a lot of this to support like a strong focus on performance. And you heard JML talk about this morning. I'm sure you've heard about it at other times, but we know that fractions of a second make material differences in conversion. And remember that like a big driving force behind bringing media to Shopify is to help merchants with their conversion. So like, let's keep a strong eye on performance. It really matters when it comes to things like this. If there's something about these limits that doesn't work for you, maybe you need a longer video for some reason, first of all, we'd love to talk to you about those specific use cases. So ask a question here or come talk to us at the stroller booth. But I'm not getting into the details here, but you'll see it in the documentation. In addition to allowing you to upload videos to Shopify for us to host and stream for you, we also support embedded YouTube videos. So you can give us a YouTube link, and we treat that as a media item, just like all of the other media items that we type or that we support. And we will then render the embedded YouTube player into Liquid into your online store. So there's opportunities to use non-Shopify hosted video here as well. For 3D, so we've had lots of questions about 3D models so far yesterday and this morning, and I'm sure we'll have more. But here's the high-level overview. So there's two file formats for 3D on Shopify. GLTF is a format that comes from an important 3D standards body that you heard Jean-Michel talk about this morning, the Chronos group. We're actively participating in that group along with the likes of Facebook, Google, and Microsoft. And we really are trying to make this like the PNG of 3D, a universal format for 3D on the web. Apple has gone a different format with their platforms that's called USDZ. But on Shopify, we'll take care of that. You give us the GLTF format, we will build behind the scenes the USDZ format, so you don't have to worry about multiple file formats. That's our problem, and we're taking that complexity away. We're imposing a 15 megabyte limit on the size of the models that are uploaded to us. Strongly encourage you to make them significantly smaller than that, but that's your ceiling. And we have extensive best practices for those that are creating their own models available already. Speaking of 3D model best practices, this is really important. You have to remember that once your model is quadrangulated and you have the non-overlapping UV shells unwrapped to a single material with separated PBR, diffuse, metal roughness, and occlusion maps. So raise your hands if that made any sense to you. The lights are blinding, so I can't tell if anyone did. I'm going to assume that nobody raised their hands. That's actually a direct quote from our 3D model best practices. The point I'm making is that building 3D models right now is a real specialty. It's not something that comes with consumer-grade tools or that we expect everyone to have the ability to do on their own, at least not yet. And so the same is also true, but to a lesser degree, with video and even images. It's not always easy to get professional, high-quality assets for people to build the shopping experience that they want. And if we're not careful, that can be a real challenge. And so if our merchants can't get access to the type of content that they need to power the sort of experiences that we're looking to build here, they can't capture any of the value of this work. And of course, that's a really big problem. But the great thing about problems like that is that there are opportunities for people like you. So you can see through all of the work that we're doing here that we've been showing off breathtaking visuals. The model that we've been using for the stroller, the videos that we've been using as our examples are really nice, highly polished, very professional things. Now, I'm lucky on my team, we have 3D modelers, we have access to very experienced professionals to help us build this. Our merchants don't. And so what can we do to help merchants acquire that content? And so the best answer right now is that we have our experts marketplace. And this is a place where our merchants can go to get help with all sorts of things, including getting 3D models, help with videos, and even help with images. So this is a really simple path for our merchants. With little more than providing a bunch of product photography and maybe some dimensions, they can get back high-quality 3D models that they can use on their website. And there are a few of those experts in the audience here today. If you have questions, you can find them afterwards. There you go. And so I'm also really excited to announce a brand new opportunity for you to help our merchants deal with all types of media. So the expert marketplace is a great place for creating new content. But what about when merchants want to be able to tweak or edit their content? It would be great if we didn't have to send them back to the experts marketplace for every last little thing that they want to do. And so have a look at this. So this is a merchant. They're in their admin looking at the new media card, and they're going to upload a few new assets. One of them is a video. But they realize that the video isn't quite perfect. They want that video to be trimmed down a little bit. They got some dead space at the end of it. So the 50-second video, watch this. They're about to launch a video editing app that one of you has built to trim that video down. They're going to save that. And you're going to see the updated preview that's now 50 seconds long. And they're done. They're right back where they started. And so the flow that we're illustrating there is that we're going to build some new extension points for media editing apps to be able to help with editing images, editing video, and editing 3D, and we will be putting those links right in the context of where merchants are interacting with media and the admin today. And so just to give you another visual of that, here they are previewing a video in their admin, and you can see those links in the bottom right-hand corner are apps that they have installed that have registered for those extension points to say, I know how to edit video. And so if you want to build an app to do this, and I hope that you do, if you're familiar with the existing concept of admin links at Shopify, this is very similar. It's really a new flavor of admin link where you give us a URL that we launch your app to and tell us what sort of asset you know how to edit. And again, we will build those links and put them in the right place. Today, like I said, media is in the product context only, but like I also hinted at, media is going to spread. And so while these apps are only going to surface where we're dealing with product media right now, you will soon see this spread to wherever media goes. You also heard mention of Shopify App Bridge on main stage yesterday. That's something that we want you to build your apps with support for, because through App Bridge, we give you and ourselves the ability to launch your app in an embedded flow to give that seamless experience like we showed in the video a moment ago. And this is a big opportunity for you. You know that we have 820,000 merchants and growing on our platform. You might not know that in the last 30 days, we've had 250 million product images created. And that's just images in the last 30 days. That's before we add support for video, before we add support for 3D models. And so this opportunity, again, is only going to grow as we start to see adoption. All right, we're on the home stretch. Timelines and takeaways. Today in the Unite Developer Preview, you can see and have available to you the updated Liquid that you can use to build media experiences in your themes. You will also see, if you go to your online store themes area, that there's an example debut theme that you can install with a click of a button where you can see an example implementation. Feel free to use that as inspiration, steal it, whatever you want to do. You will have support for the GraphQL media editions. And of course, there's the updates to the web admin so you can drag and drop videos and 3D models into your developer preview shop. Starting next Wednesday, our iOS admin, or like iOS version of Shopify Mobile is rolling out with feature parity on everything that our web admin can do, in addition for you to be able to capture video with your camera, of course, and upload that straight into a product if you want to. We are planning on launching this to merchants in September. That's 10 weeks from now. Between now and then, Shopify is going to be updating all of our supported themes. We will be launching the Android version of Shopify Mobile, and we'll be making media available through the Storefront API, and we'll be adding the support for the media editing applications that we just talked about. We need you to be updating any paid and custom themes if you're a theme developer. If you have an app that interacts with product images right now, update your app to be using the media API. If you're a partner that sets up new merchants and brings them to Shopify, also update your tooling, but don't forget to make video and 3D part of your pitch. Remember, Shopify is the only platform that has end-to-end support for this. And finally, start building those media editing apps. We have no doubt that our merchants are going to expect and want support from all of you to help them deal with the media on their platform. So I talked about a lot of things, several different APIs, several different flavors of APIs, different types of media. There's a lot going on here, and I fear that I might have overcomplicated what it takes to really bring this to life for our merchants. So we're going to wrap up with a really quick end-to-end demo. So here's how easy it can be. You're going to edit the product template. You're going to replace the images with media. You're going to go to a product that already has images. You're going to throw a video and a 3D model at it. Now, of course, because we can, we're going to quickly trim some dead space off the end of that video. And as soon as you're done, you now have a product that's available to their buyers that has the in-browser support for 3D, the videos, the images, and of course, the augmented reality experience so people can see this in their homes before they even have to purchase. So, probably a good slide to take pictures of. Docs link that can give you a great overview of all that we're talking about here. And if you want to play with this yourself on your devices, try that URL. Or there's QR codes at our activation booth down on the main floor that take you to the same thing. But that stroller website is available for you to play with so you can try this experience yourself on your own devices. So So that's it. Super excited to see what you are all able to build along with us over the course of the next 10 weeks so that we can launch this for our merchants come Labor Day or so. So thanks very much. Happy to take questions. And if you don't get to your question or you have like longer conversations, there's 5 of us that are at that stroller booth on the main floor. Come talk to us at any time today and we'd be happy to chat with you more about this. Thank you. Trade you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We have a question. Does the cost of creating expensive 3D assets outweigh the performance benefits, given that products are often replaced by newer versions and styles every year? I mean, I guess if your product is replaced by newer versions and styles really frequently, then maybe, but I don't think that that's always the case. Just for context, like getting a model in the experts marketplace can be as little as $100. It's not always like an incredibly large outlay of capital to acquire these models. So I'd say, no, I don't agree that it's outweighs the cost. Will we be able to choose the thumbnail for videos in 3D media? Yes, we will be launching support for you to be able to override the thumbnail image that's used for media types. When will you support Vimeo videos as external URLs? I can make no promises other than to nod and say, we hear you. Yeah, that's all I could say about that right now, but good feature request. Are you considering adding video creation for merchants? I mean, I guess in the iOS and Android versions of the mobile app, yes, like you can use your on-camera or on-phone camera to record a video and upload it straight to your product. So if that counts as video creation, yes. If you're asking if we're looking at building apps that like have a more like, I don't know, purposeful attempt at like meaningfully creating videos, no. I mean, I want to be clear that the space around creating media, helping our merchants like edit and tweak their media, that's not a space that Shopify wants to invest in first party. We want our merchants to have the very best media creation and media editing capabilities at their fingertips. We want you to build this for them. This is meant to be like your greenfield's opportunity, not ours. So I have no plans to try and invest in that space to answer that directly. What about accepting Vimeo videos instead of YouTube? And we've answered this question, but there's a good follow on. YouTube videos end with related videos. That is true. Just be aware that YouTube is changing the way their player works and they're taking away some controls so that you can't get just a video. You start to get a video with related videos at the end, so be aware of that if you're using video. For fashion brands, what's required to map a 3D product model in AR to a face or a body like a Snapchat filter? Is this on the roadmap? Loosely, yes. So AR today works really well for placing things onto hard horizontal surfaces, and that's about it. For us to be able to do like facial detection or body tracking to be able to do clothing, that's coming, and that's stuff that Shopify is like really interested in, of course, we'll be experimenting with. But if you're asking if you're gonna have that by September, I can confidently tell you the answer is no. Will we provide video views analytics via API? Via API, maybe not. The main metric that we want merchants to be tracking related to this work is the high-level like conversion numbers. So does adding media to your products help with conversion? Getting into the lower-level diagnoses of all the components that help with that is probably something we will start to push into in the not-too-distant future, but we're not looking to be like a really, really detailed video analytics platform. Again, there's nothing stopping you from wrapping that into whatever custom player or theme experience you want, and so go ahead and do that if that's important for your merchants. It's not important for us on day one. What would be the ideal file format for 3D renderings to work on Shopify and AR? Any best practices? I guess I kind of answered this on the way through the talk. You want to be using GLTF, and best practices, yes, there are some. You can find them if you search the like Shopify like API and developer sites. And I have 2 seconds, 1 second, no second. So that's all the questions I can answer. But come talk to us at the booth. Thanks very much.